Hi, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Fazan Academy. I'm Deanna, and today I want to talk to you about the magic of books and what that can mean for kids and teenagers, but particularly young children. I remember as a child reading quite a bit, and I know we talk quite a bit so far about reading, but the magic of books is what my whole world is about. I have to admit, I am a bit, or maybe beyond a bit, of a book nerd. And if you come to my house, you'll see books everywhere, and I think it's glorious. But what does that mean for children? And so I'm going to just start with a little bit of a story. I remember I grew up in a small town in Northern California, and we would have a few times a year reading is fundamental. They would bring in books for purchase, and they were very inexpensive. And I remember my mom would give me $5. And I think this is where I actually learned my bargain shopping tricks that I still use today. And I would hold that $5 in my hand and I would scour all the books and look at the titles and look at the covers and read a little bit about them. And I would see how many books, the most books I can get for my money. And I was really sort of obsessive about it and wanted to maximize my opportunity because growing up, we didn't have tons of money, but we went to the library all the time and I would come home with stacks of books. And so I remember on this one particular occasion, I think I was probably in second or third grade, and there was this book called From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basiley Frankweiler. And it was about two kids who went to a museum. And I'm like, oh, cool. I've been to museums. So I bought it. And I had no idea how much that book would impact me for years to come, even to this day. And so that's the thing about having kids read. Whether you take them to the library or get them a book, you never know the seeds that you're planting, and it's magic. So this particular story is about these two kids who take a school bus to school, which I thought was really cool because we lived close by to the school and we could just walk. And I always thought it'd be really cool to have to take the school bus. And so they take the school bus, but instead of getting off at school, they hide under the seats and they end up at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. They hide out in the museum and they take the coins in the fountain for some money to survive. But what ultimately ends up happening is that they meet this lady who I learn later is a curator, this older woman, and they discover this long lost Michelangelo sculpture, and it's this great mystery. But it was just this really amazing story about art and discovering this lost statue and researching and trying to figure this out. And it planted a seed that later would come back when I went back to college. I was a returning student. And I studied art history because of this book. And that book has always stayed with me. And it's just a wonderful thing that I was given this opportunity to read this book as a kid and just have those little bits of seeds planted. So you don't know what's going to happen. So the beauty of this is that I got to choose my own book. So if you have kids in your life, take them to a bookstore or a library if you don't want to spend tons of money on books, and let them choose some books that they think would be interesting and talk to them about reading this. I remember talking to my mom about this book. I was so excited, and I would tell her all about the story and we would talk about it and she would ask me questions, and it was really just this beautiful memory that I still have. So provide opportunities for kids to read and really just use their imagination, because the seeds that are planted early on, again, I was in second or third grade, and then I ended up studying art history in college, and I got an art history degree. I worked as a museum curator and fulfilled that dream that one day when I was a kid, buying a book just because I was so excited that the Reading is Fundamental people were there and they had their little book sale, which was really inexpensive. Buying this one little scholastic book changed my life. So if you've heard of this book, From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basiley Frankweiler, which is a pretty long title for a second grader to remember, particularly for as long as I have. So if you remember this book or have one of your own book that you read as a child that really impacted you and led you on a particular path as an adult, let us know in the comments below. Share your experience. We'd love to hear from you. So with that, I am going to go find some more inspiration in books today. Have a great day. If you like our videos, we would love for you to like, share, subscribe, and we have links to our other social media in the description below. Have a great day.